Back to the killing fields of KwaZulu-Natal, where political ambitions are often advanced with bullets. We speak to Francois Rodgers, the provincial leader of the Democratic Alliance. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, Chris, and good morning to your viewers.
Can you please give us an update on the assassination of a chief whip in the only municipality in the province that is under DA control?
Yes, I can. This happened at 7:30 on, I think it was Tuesday evening, if I remember correctly. And two armed gunmen arrived at Ndlalayenzo in Ndlovu, Councillor Ndlovu's house. They fired two shots through the door and then broke the door down. They then pursued Ndlalayenzo into his bedroom, where an additional 8 shots were fired, which obviously killed him. So 10 shots in all were fired. The shots were fired at point-blank range. This was in front of his 5-year-old daughter, his wife Pretty, and their little 6-month-old baby and the nanny. The perpetrators then fled the scene, and nothing was removed. There was no theft involved. And, luckily there was no other further injury to those in the home.
Did the hitmen say anything that the family reported back to you?
At this stage, I haven't got that information. I'm going up to Howick today to go and pay my condolences to the family and to obtain some more information. But I'm not aware that there was any communication.
What are the indications that this was a political killing and not a personal matter?
We believe it was politically motivated. A few days ago, Ndlalayenzo, had raised with the mayor that there were certain threats against him relating to the disconnection of illegal electricity connections in an area on just south of uMngeni, where there's some large mansions on uMngeni trust land. Some of those houses have now installed their own substations and have illegally connected to the municipality, and a disconnection process was underway. This was reported to the uMngeni SAPS police station, but clearly there was no action taken at that stage, and we now sit with the death of a father and a husband and a councillor.
What has the police response been to his killing?
Well, as I say, the only positive that I can take out of the police's response, firstly, it took them hours to arrive on the scene. Nobody was answering the telephone at the uMngeni police station. The only positivity out of this is that the special task team dealing with political killings arrived on the scene yesterday. And one would hope that they would be able to expedite the arrest of these perpetrators.
What all were reported to the police at the time when he received threats?
Well, there were some senior leaders in the traditional area who seem to have been implicated. I certainly don't want to divulge any names at this stage. I don't think it would be wise to do so. So the information about the threats against Ndlalayenzo and those people involved had been reported to the SAPS.
But no action was taken.
Well, you see, this is one of the biggest problems we have. If you look back at the Morani Commission, which was a commission that was instituted some 6 to 8 years ago about political killings in the province, none of those recommendations have even been addressed. And one of the serious resolutions in that Morani Commission is about intelligence and SAPS intelligence. You know, nobody wakes up in the morning and decides they're going to kill a public figure. It's a planned, orchestrated, detailed event, and that sort of information is divulged into the community. It's not an isolated incident. And what's more, we had evidence which we gave to SAPS, and yet they didn't act on it. So that's part of the problem. And this is why we believe, and I've been calling for some time now, for political leaders in the province of KwaZulu-Natal to sit around a table, to have a dialogue with an independent chairperson and look at the recommendations contained in the Morani Commission and start implementing them. It's our responsibility. We're leaders. But sad to say that of all the political parties I approached in the province, only one responded. The rest haven't even bothered to respond, which I'm afraid is a sad indictment on some of the political leaders and some of the parties in our province.
Now, when I last spoke to the mayor in that municipality, Christopher Papas, he confirmed that he too had received threats. How are you going to keep him safe? I know he's taking a break from his premiership campaign now to mourn, but when he returns, surely he'll be in grave danger too.
Well, obviously, we have to relook at the security we have around certain of our individuals, and we need to beef up that security. The sad reality is, security doesn't come at no cost. It comes at a financial cost, and it just purely means that the more we pay on VIP protection and security, the less money there is for service delivery. So, we find ourselves in a really sad space. We find ourselves probably 6 to 7 months away from an election, and one would hope that the political violence that we've experienced in the past and what we as a party experienced 2 days ago is not going to start escalating. But yes, we would have to review security around certain of our public representatives. But having said that, we're not going to go into a hole and avoid this campaign going into 2024. We'll continue to do our job. I think it's important. I think good will triumph evil, and democracy must prevail. And we, as the DA, will be the leader and the front runners in that process.
Why do you think KZN is the home of hitmen? The place where political scores are settled, by the gun.
Well, I think the province has a dreadful history and a dreadful past about political violence going back some years. Yesterday, I engaged with His Majesty the King. I paid a courtesy visit, and one of the issues we discussed was, in fact, political violence, not just on public representatives, but the traditional leadership in our province. So I think it's an historical lack of toleration amongst political leaders and senior structures. That again, the Morani Commission talks about. It comes up with resolutions, and the late King made it very clear that we should not in any way tolerate political violence and killings. And I think, the lack of consequence when it comes to this type of killing, makes it very easy for these hitmen to be able to operate in the political space and in the traditional leadership space. So, it's consequence, and it's swift consequence. Otherwise, it just becomes a means to an end for people to make money and to eliminate those who are trying to do their job.
Indeed. Thank you very much. That was Francois Rodgers, the provincial leader of the Democratic Alliance, speaking to BizNews. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Chris.